Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak today. My name is Sally Jones, and I am a proud peace activist. My 45-year career was in software development. Now I spend my volunteer time with Peace Action. Peace Action began in 1957 as the Committee for a Sane Nuclear Policy, and eliminating nuclear weapons has been a key goal of our organization since then. I volunteer at the local level with Peace Action of Staten Island, at the state level with Peace Action Fund of New York State, and at the national level participating in National Peace Action's strategy and lobbying activities. One of the things I am most proud of is Peace Action Fund of New York State's program supporting students who want to learn more about foreign policy and how it affects their lives. We work with students on 12 to 15 chapters across the state each semester, providing them with opportunities to come to the United Nations for conferences and meet with other young people who care about these issues from around the world. So let's begin. So I'm calling this presentation Nuclear Weapons and the Future of Humanity. Last month, I reread George Orwell's novel, 1984, that he wrote in 1949 about a dystopian world 35 years in his future. It was a world where there had been a catastrophic atomic war. The book describes what happened. Atomic bombs first appeared as early as the 1940s and were first used on a large scale about 10 years later. At that time, some hundreds of bombs were dropped on industrial centers, chiefly in European Russia, Western Europe, and North America. The effect was to convince the ruling groups of all countries that a few more atomic bombs would mean the end of organized society, and hence of their own power. Thereafter, although no formal agreement was ever made or hinted at, no more bombs were dropped. Unfortunately, the aftermath of that fictional atomic war is not peaceful, but militaristic and totalitarian. Peace activists imagine and work for a different future for our world. In our world today, we have actually managed to reduce the number of nuclear warheads from a high of 60,000 in 1986 during the Cold War. There has been important arms control work over the last 40 years. Today we have 3,912 deployed nuclear weapons, many of them on hair trigger alert, 5,702 stored nuclear weapons, and 2,627 retired nuclear weapons, a total of 12,241. It is still a very dangerous situation. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institution, C3, 9 countries have nuclear weapons. You can't probably read the names, but going from left to right here, the USA, Russia, China, France, the UK, India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea all have nuclear weapons. Over 90% of the nuclear weapons that we have today are in the arsenals of the United States and Russia. All these countries on this list are modernizing their nuclear arsenals, with some countries deploying new nuclear-armed and nuclear-capable weapon systems. It's not just the 9 countries that we need to be concerned about. There are more than 40 countries that have nuclear weapons or the capability to develop them. The countries in yellow are the current 9 who who have nuclear weapons, and the 33 in white have the technological capability to become nuclear weapon states. If even a small and crudely constructed nuclear bomb were to be used in a major city like New York, the death toll could exceed 1 million. According to author Graham Allison, director of the Better Center for Science and International Affairs at Harvard, a detonation of a relatively small nuclear weapon in Manhattan, not far from here, could kill everyone within a half-mile radius of Times Square. Even more would die from collapsing buildings, fire, and fallout. Hospitals, doctors, and emergency services would be overwhelmed by the wounded. Firefighters would be battling an uncontrolled ring of fires for days to come. The economic impact would be enormous. To give you an idea of the type of devastation that would occur, here is a photo of Hiroshima. On August 6, 1945, the city of Hiroshima was destroyed by a single U.S. nuclear weapon, equivalent to 15 kilotons of TNT, killing 90,000 people almost immediately and 145,000 people by the end of 1945. 3 days later, the city of Nagasaki was destroyed with another atomic bomb with a capacity of 20 kilotons of TNT. 40,000 people almost immediately died, and 75,000 people were dead by the end of that year, 1945. There is no dispute that nuclear weapons are immoral, for the same reason that they are illegal. They kill indiscriminately and cause unnecessary suffering through the short and long-term effects of heat, blast, and radiation. Since the beginning of the nuclear age, these weapons and their delivery systems have cost the U.S. alone more than $7.5 trillion. In recent years, the U.S. has spent $60 billion annually on nuclear weapons and their delivery systems, far higher than during the Cold War. These are funds that could have been used for healthcare, like we learned today, education, disaster relief, and other vital services. It's not just the potential use of nuclear weapons in a conflict or an accident that is the problem. The testing of nuclear weapons has caused considerable destruction and suffering. It is estimated that the testing of nuclear weapons has caused the premature deaths of at least 100,000 to 500,000 people around the world. Testing was particularly prevalent on the lands of indigenous people. This is a picture of the Nevada test site, where approximately 90% of U.S. nuclear tests have occurred, most of them underground. Another concerning development is that on October 20th of this year, President Trump called on the Pentagon to resume testing nuclear weapons immediately. Though it was unclear whether this referred to nuclear explosive testing or testing of the delivery systems. In sum, nuclear weapons are catastrophically dangerous, incompatible with global security, enormously costly, illegal under international law, and immoral. At a summit meeting in 1986 in Reykjavik, Iceland, Gorbachev and Reagan, Gorbachev the president of Russia and Reagan the president of the United States, came close to agreeing to abolish their nuclear arsenals. But in the end, negotiations failed when Reagan would not give up U.S. missile defense plans. While these politicians held a vision of a nuclear weapons-free world, they did not provide the leadership necessary to achieve this goal. Peace activists appeal to nuclear power leaders to take the following steps. De-alert nuclear weapons that are on hair trigger alert. Commit to a no first use policy. Commit to developing no more new nuclear weapons. Ban nuclear testing forever. Control the nuclear material that's out there. Sign and ratify the treaty for the prohibition of nuclear weapons and provide resources for peace. It is up to all of us, each of us, all of us, to assure a human future by ending nuclear weapons that threaten the end of human life. I urge you to contact me at sallynys@panys.org or go to panys.org and learn about how you can get involved. And I have some cards here, and thank you for listening. It's a hard thing to listen to, and I really appreciate you being here to listen.